Thanks for tuning in, guys. Today we talk to a laundromat owner-operator. Okay, guys, we're back with another episode of My Job Podcast. This time I've got an entrepreneur who has a super interesting story. I've known Bruce for a long time. We share a passion for motorcycles, which is really fun. He's got all kinds of stories and organizations he's involved in, and I wish we had time to delve into that. Unfortunately, we don't, but he also started the company Wash It Quick laundrymat service, which is very interesting, and I can't wait to jump into this. So, without further ado, Bruce Walker, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate your time.
You bet. You bet. I'm excited to tell the tale.
Yeah, no, this is going to be really cool. We're really getting a diverse grasp of people coming on, and this just adds to it. So I'm super excited. So let's get started. Bruce, why don't you just kind of break it down, name, kind of what you do, and how long you've been in the laundromat profession for?
So I am Bruce Walker, born and raised in Denton, Texas. I was in the laundromat business for 19 years. I sold the business about 2 years ago and reinvested that money into single-family homes. So we were looking for some sort of business to get involved with. I was a stay-at-home dad and needed some sort of job that I could do that would allow me to take care of my kids and yet earn income. And so I needed a job that I could raise my family and have some sort of business that I could run on the side. And we saw that this laundromat was going to be built near our house, and it said, call such and such number. So we called the number, did some due diligence, and we're like, man, I mean, this sounds like a pretty recession-proof business. Everybody wears clothes and they all get dirty, and there's people that will not have washers and people that do have washers that will break, and if you have too much laundry, there's all kinds of different customers that do laundry. So we built our business and opened it in 2001 and did it for 19 years.
As you were brainstorming 20 years ago, or you back in 2000, what you might do, what were some other options that you were looking at?
So we were looking at different franchises, like a Sports Clips was one thing that we looked at. We looked at the Chick-fil-A. There's all kinds of different things out there that we considered, but this being within less than a mile from our house, that was a big driving point. It was a simple business, laundry. If you got to explain what you do, keep it simple, right? So if you're like, hey, let me tell you about this, widget that I just invented, and, it gets kind of complicated really quick. But laundry, people understand laundry. I felt like we could hire some people that could do laundry. And, my whole goal at the very beginning was to make about enough in the wash, dry, and fold part of the business to be able to just cover payroll. And if I could cover payroll, that was a fantastic success. So I think initially my payroll was about $7,000 or $8,000 a month. So I'm like, man, if I can just get to that number and pay my note and all of this kind of stuff, then that will be a win. So when you're at 5,000 or when you're at zero, you're like, man, I can't even believe I can do 5,000. So then you finally eke your way up to 5,000, and then you're like, well, if I can do 5,000, I wonder if I could do 7,500. And then just a few orders that come in that make that difference. And then I got together with some guys with the Coin Laundry Association. Yes, there's such a thing. Don't laugh at me. But it's a trade organization, and I think the laundry business is about a $5 billion business. And so there's this little trade organization. I got to meet some of the other owners there, And we got to talking, and we're like, hey, anybody doing 10,000 a month? And so we kind of, unofficially called ourselves like the 10,000 Club. And we would call each other, and we would, hey, man, we got a big order. Hey, man, we got a big order. And we would just kind of coach each other and encourage each other. In fact, my father-in-law was working at J.C. Penney's, and he was about to retire, and he built a laundromat. And so he and I would talk back and forth almost daily about the customers that we were going after and the wins that we had and even the trials and all that kind of stuff. So we really were able to collaborate and share and inspire each other and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how that got going.
Okay, so the Wash It Quick, is that a franchise business that you bought into, or did you create that?
So Quick Industries owns the branding for like Quick Car Lube and Tune, Dry Cleaner, Quick Laundromat, and then Quick Car Wash. Those are the four. They might have some more brands at this time, but at that time, that was the four that they had done. The laundries were like kind of a new thing that they were going with, and there's really, you kind of paid an extra franchise fee at the very beginning, but there wasn't an ongoing fee or relationship with them through the years. Like once you paid for the laundromat, I mean, that was
okay.
That was it. Whereas like with a lube center, they've got oil disposal and products and filters and all that kind of stuff that is an ongoing relationship that they have, where Quick is able to be a distributor of that and make a little money on that. For a laundry, your main thing that you're buying every month is utilities. You're buying water and electricity and gas. So there's very little supplies that you would be purchasing. So there's not any distribution there that Quick can be a part of. So I don't think they really, after they built mine, which I think was like the fourth or fifth one that they built, I don't know that they ever built another one, because there just wasn't an ongoing relationship that really helped them add value to their bottom line.
Okay. So believe it or not, Bruce, I've actually done laundry before. So I can understand dirty clothes, water, soap, dryer. I understand that part of it, but running a laundry business is different. Talk to me about your business background, or anything that did the franchise help you as far as the business side of it, because there's a lot more than just the front dirty clothes. How does that work?
So I have a business degree, and I utilized a lot of that knowledge to just really get in there and try to market the business as best as I could. And it's hard to believe this. In 2001, there were still payphones, and that was like literally a revenue stream for a lot of laundry owners to have those kinds of things. So let me break it down to you in three pieces. There's the self-service side. Customer walks in, does their own laundry. There is the drop-off laundry, which customer brings their laundry, we wash, dry, and fold it for them and give it back to them. And then we also added later a pickup and delivery business, where we would go to either commercial customers or families and pick up their laundry and bring it back to our store, wash, dry, and fold it, and then deliver it back to them. So those are the three major revenue streams. We don't have a payphone, but we had snacks and cokes and stuff like that there, but that's very minimal on the revenue side of things. That was more just like a convenience and an expectation for the customers to have something to snack on and eat. And, for me, it was more of a hassle to go and get all that stuff and stock the machine than that was actual profit. So,
yeah. Out of those three, self-service, drop-off, and pickup delivery, which is the most financially lucrative?
Good question. When there is a crisis, that's whenever there's opportunity to make money. So when the Hurricane Katrina hit, that was hundreds of miles away from Denton. We had so many refugees in Denton that we had to do their laundry. And these people would bring a truckload of laundry, like literally everything that they owned had been underwater for weeks. And they would wash it, dry it, and most of the time throw it away because it was just nasty laundry.
Mm-hmm.
And so on those months, or like when we had the snowpocalypse, everybody's water was frozen. Nobody had electricity. And I was just making hay. I mean, people would bring this thousands of pounds of laundry there. And then our biggest catastrophe that happened was COVID. So when COVID happened, there was all this pickup and delivery business that started ramping up. And we got a hold of this little customer called Amazon.
I've heard of them.
And we started doing all of their insulated coveralls because they would have these food distribution centers. And we would go and pick up a Sprinter van completely packed full of laundry twice a day. And it was just hundreds of thousands of dollars of business that was just crazy. So we went, our business grew 78% that year. Wow. And at that time, the pickup and delivery was more than the other two combined. And so, your self-service, you're really kind of limited to, they call it a turn per day. So like if you have one washer and one dryer and they each are charging $1 and they run one time a day, you made $2. 2 times a day, you would make $4, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have a laundry that's got 40 or 50 washers and they're all different prices and yada, yada. So you do a turns per day analysis to try to figure out how much business that business could make. So realistically, your business is not going to do 9 turns a day, right? I mean, it'd be great if it did, and there would be days that you might do that, but overall, it's never going to do that. So you kind of got to shoot somewhere between 3 and 5-ish.
Okay.
So and that's the top end. That's your Saturday, Sunday is your 5. Your day, your Monday, Tuesday is your 3. So you kind of average that out. And that's what your self-service opportunity is. The sky's the limit for pickup and delivery and drop-off. So a lot of my pickup and delivery customers started out as drop-off customers or maybe even a self-service customer. So there's all, and if you are there on site, you can pay attention to it. And you can see what's happening. If somebody shows up with a lot of laundry, you're helping them in and you're visiting with them and talking to them. And then all of a sudden you find out they're from Presbyterian Hospital of Denton and you're like, huh. So I started up a conversation with them. I ended up doing all of Presbyterian Hospital's scrubs for years. Wow. Because I was nice to Wanda. Wanda came in and Wanda needed some more scrubs and they weren't getting them back fast enough. And so we, as a small business, we can go in there and problem solve, and in a matter of minutes, we can be the solution. But you got to be in there, paying attention, talking to people, pressing the flesh, and finding out what's going on. And if the phone rings and somebody's like, "Hey, I've got a lot of laundry," and you're like, what is a lot of laundry to you? Because a lot of laundry to some people is like 3 bags of laundry. And they're like, well, whenever we go to the laundromat, they get mad at us because it's so much laundry. And I'm like, now that's the kind of customer. I'm like, I can be at your location in an hour and assess what's going on there. And they're like, you don't even know where we're at. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can get there in an hour for that kind of money. And again, that it started out a huge business that we were able to get and grow, where we would pick up thousands of pounds of laundry every week. We would fill the van completely full, and it would take us over a week to get that laundry back to them. So
amazing.
Yeah, all kinds of opportunity there. It's crazy.
So we were kind of talking off air, the initial struggle of actually making money to support yourself and your family. You did it for 19 years. How long did it take before you felt like you were onto something? Like, okay, this has traction and I can kind of see this through. What was that process like?
The tipping point for me is when you have to have at least two people working in the morning and two people in the evening plus a delivery driver. If you have enough business to sustain that just opened up all kinds of opportunities for us. Because then whenever a big order would come in, when I say big, we're like several hundred pounds of laundry, we could manage it. Or if somebody got sick, I wasn't the guy that was doing the laundry, because the last thing I wanted to do was, be a laundromat attendant. I wanted to own a business, and I wanted to help with the business, and I have folded my fair share of laundry, and I was the delivery driver. But I didn't want to do that long term. But whenever you had enough where you had to have two in the morning and two in the evening and a full-time driver, that's when opportunities started happening for us, because we had enough bandwidth to be able to handle almost anything. And that probably took close to 10 years to get to that part.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Bruce. So you've had the privilege of meeting a lot of people, solving a lot of problems, from the personal to the commercial. If you weren't doing the laundromat, what do you think you'd be doing? I know you said you kind of looked at some franchises a while ago, but looking back now with who you've met and people you've networked with, is there something that stood out where you thought, man, that would have been fun to do?
What I'm doing now is I have purchased a bunch of single-family homes, and I am renting those. And so I enjoy remodeling houses. I enjoy the creative process of doing that. I enjoy doing that for myself more than I enjoy doing it for others, but I still enjoy doing it for others. But whenever you're working on your own property and you're hiring your own crews and you're building a new bathroom or making a utility area or redoing the kitchen, that's very satisfying for me. And if rolling back the clock, the houses that I'm buying now, I should have bought, back in the day for $100,000. Now those same houses are $350,000. So that's a little, again, you can't look back. But I think if I was doing that, if I was to roll the clock back, that's what I would be doing. Okay. Which is what I'm doing now.
Awesome. Let me ask you this, and I appreciate your time. We're kind of wrapping up. If there was somebody who's listening to this and what you said about the laundromat industry struck a nerve and they maybe want to look into more information, what would your advice be for the next step for someone who might be interested in doing what you did?
CoinLaundry.org is the Coin Laundry Association's website. There's all kinds of Facebook pages that you can get involved with, and then just walking into stores and talking to people. I mean, I think I learned a lot, and I made a lot of friends just walking into people's store and saying, "Hey, I'm curious about what you do," and doing, just having a little Q&A. And most people have been very forthright about what they do and be willing to help you in any way.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, be friendly and inquisitive. That's awesome.
Yes.
On a more personal note, Bruce, are there any books that you're currently reading or listening to right now that's worth noting? Anything on the nightstand that you pick up that you would mind sharing with us?
There's a John Maxwell book called The 21 Laws of Leadership. I went through that with some of my employees. That was very helpful. I was having a conversation with my brother-in-law about it this morning. So if you, in the leadership space, gobble up everything that you can, and then on just kind of a brain candy, but again, kind of back on leadership, The Endurance by Alfred Lansing is a fascinating story. It's a true story, but it's also just a fascinating look back at leadership and how a man was able to lead men through a terrible crisis and not lose any of them. It's fascinating. I mean, it's a must read. So The Endurance. It's about Ernest Shackleton's Arctic expedition on the South Pole.
Yeah, I've read that. I remember what stood out about that book was the announcement he made looking for young men to join his crew. Do you remember that? It was something like, I can't guarantee you'll live, but you'll have an adventure or something like that.
Yeah, very little money, good chance you won't survive.
Yeah.
Maybe some recognition if you do.
Yeah, that's all it took, and he mustered a crew.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more, Bruce, kind of on the tail end of what you were talking about, leadership. So is there a piece of advice that you can give as far as leadership that you've learned or you've kind of used as your mantra in hiring and dealing with people in respect to leadership?
Wow. We could have a whole podcast about hiring and all of that. Again, back to my conversation with my brother-in-law this morning. I think catching people doing the right thing and encouraging that can be such a great tool for you to lead. You doing the dirty jobs as well as asking other people to do them. That's leadership. You inquiring about people and trying to help people. I can't tell you how many cars we bought and how many teeth we had, dentist appointments that we paid for and plumbing, problems that we fixed for people through the years, to employees that just are broke as a joke and just needed some help. That's leadership. And man, that paid out in spades. So I think just being aware of what your team needs and having an ear to the ground of that, don't just be oblivious to that. I think one of my regrets of being in the laundry space is that I was never going to be able to pay somebody $50,000 a year to be able to work for me. It is a lower paying job, but it doesn't mean that you can't be a blessing to those people that you're working with. And I still keep up with a lot of them. So,
man, that's great. That's great. Bruce Walker, thanks so much for your time. I know you're a busy man and you are headed to Colorado in the morning, so travel safe, enjoy Colorado, and I appreciate your time.
You bet. Let's go ride some dirt bikes.
Let's do it, man. All right, we'll talk soon. See you, buddy.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
We're always on the hunt for guests who are passionate about what they do and want to talk about it. So if you think you'd be interested in coming on, or if you're curious about a profession and want to know more about it, hit us up. We'll do our best to accommodate. Our email is info@myjobpodcast.com. We look forward to connecting with you. Have a great day.